Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April the 21st.
I'm Bruce Turner in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I'm Jeff Zayas in Napa, California.
And I'm Robert Taylor in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hey, everyone. I'm Duke Carrico, and on tonight's Android Journal is Nokia making a comeback. Hey, we've still got bad news for the Lollypop deployment. Nexus 7 failure rate is high. Hey, and what's Mobilegeddon? Hey, and we're even going to talk a little bit about the Android Wear update coming soon. Hey, guys, welcome to episode 98. How we doing?
Clicking up there, clicking up there.
Yeah? Hey, Jeff, what's the weather like in Napa, buddy?
You know, yesterday was really nice. Today is like, kind of middle 60s, overcast, and, you feel like it's going to drizzle or something. This kind of foggy, which is unusual.
It never rains in California.
Not this year. We're in like fourth year of severe drought. It's getting bad. But we're lucky in Napa because our reservoirs are like 100% full, so that's good.
Good deal. Good deal. Hey, man, let's talk a little bit of Android tonight. First of all, let's talk about Nokia, man. You know, Nokia got several of us excited on the Android front when they unveiled the N1 tablet, and that tablet really looks promising. But the rumor out there now is that Nokia is going to produce a smartphone. More than likely, it's going to run Android, but really they're not going to produce it. They're just going to give a Chinese company the specs and let the Chinese make it and stamp Nokia on it. Hey, Jeff, jump in here, man. What do you think about this Nokia rumor?
Yeah, I guess, when they sold the kind of company or whatever, the product line, the smartphone product line, there was a clause that in 2016 they can enter the smartphone market again. But maybe they've learned their lesson and they want someone else to manufacture their specs so they don't have to deal with all the other bad stuff. So, it's a smart move. They can put their toe back in the water, see if they like it. And if they don't like it, it's easy to, cut out the supplier and just go back to business as usual. So I think it's all right. I mean, they still have a brand name. You got to give them that, right?
But what is business as usual, Robert?
I'm not sure what business as usual is. I mean, the only thing that Nokia has really done in the smartphone arena is the Lumina line, which they sold to Microsoft. So, I mean, ever since then, we're talking 2 years in product distribution of IT technology. That's a long time. That's a long time to be out of the game. So I'm not sure that it's going to be that easy to just kind of pick up and start manufacturing again. I think the move to put it in a Chinese manufacturer's hand is basically what everybody's doing anyway. I don't see that as necessarily a good or bad thing. But, if they were to decide manufacturing again, it's going to be a bit of a heft to get up there and do that. And I don't think they will. The end result is it's hard to beat a Chinese price these days. Very difficult to beat.
Well, they bought that French company Alcatel-Lucent. I think that that's actually going to go through $16.5 billion. Listen, man, I'd love to see Nokia do it. Back in the day, their hardware wasn't shabby, okay, but I don't think they ever really caught on right to what a smartphone should be. So let's see what happens.
Well, they married up to Microsoft. I mean, they hitched their wagon to the wrong horse. I mean, do
you think that if Nokia had it to do over again, would they make that sale like they did? What do you think about that, Bruce?
I don't know. What I was thinking when you were posing that question is, if I was, these Chinese phones. I mean, this is getting to be a vast market over there, and so when you think about a Chinese phone, you think about Huawei or Nokia. I mean, there is something about the brand of Nokia, and if Nokia can leverage their brand and make sure that they're turning out a decent product. And Robert's got the real key there as far as the price, you know, with these Chinese phones, or whoever made that comment. You know, it could do well. But as far as you know, their deal with Microsoft, I think if they hadn't made that deal, they might have very well gone under. I think Microsoft really bailed them out financially. I don't think they had much choice.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And they probably own some patents or something that, you know, gets them through the day, you know. So
here's the N1.
hey, it's 33 degrees centigrade in Shanghai. I wonder how they put that screen up there.
Yeah, almost 8-inch display. Of course, it's going to feature Nokia's Z launcher. But good-looking tablet, and it looks like it's going to be a good-looking tablet, especially for the money. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
And it is just a rumor, right?
Sure, it is. Simply just that. All right, man. Let's talk about something, Bruce. I know you're going to have a lot to say about this, but we're still seeing a lot of issues. Wait just a second here. Just bear with me, everybody. Let me see where my link is. We're seeing a whole lot of issues with Lollypop and this deployment, and there's still a lot of very unhappy Nexus 5 and Nexus 7 owners with this latest push from Google with Android 5.1 Lollypop, and we're seeing freezes, reboots, lags. There's memory leaks. There's battery issues. And Bruce, I think from your first-hand experience, you can tell us that it's more than Lollypop and Nexus devices. Why don't you share with us what's been going on with you the last few days?
I will, and I am certain that I am not the first person to say this, but tonight, for the first time, when you were introducing this part of the story, this came to my mind for the very first time. So I know this can't be original with me, but after my experience with the over-the-air update to Lollypop on my Samsung Galaxy Alpha phone, I would refer to this as Lollypoop instead of Lollypop. Because this is the worst upgrade experience I've ever had on a smartphone, going all the way back to the Trio 180, a black and white smartphone. You may remember that. I know you had some Trios too. But and all you have to do is go online and start searching. It doesn't matter who the carrier is, whether it's Verizon or AT&T. In my case, it was AT&T. And so the carriers are starting to roll out Lollypop to some of these older phones. This includes the Note 3, the Samsung Galaxy S4, S5, S5 Active, Note 4, and then finally they rolled it out to the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. You search XDA developers, or you just search online anywhere, and you'll see that it has been a disaster for some people. The issues for me were threefold. Number one, battery life tanked at least 30%. It was horrible. It made my phone to where it wouldn't last me through the whole day. The second thing was irresponsive buttons, or unresponsive buttons, especially the back button when you want to go back to the previous page or wherever you were. When you would hit that, it would be 5, 6, 10 seconds before it would even respond. You would go to open up some apps, and you would get a bright white screen for 3, 5, 6 seconds before the app would even open up. And there were other things that it would just totally hang on. So irresponsive apps, unresponsive buttons, and battery life was just horrid. And it was looking like the only solutions were going to be factory reset and reboot, and root, and then go back to KitKat 4.4.4, which a lot of people were doing. Of course, that voids your warranty. Or hope that maybe just doing a factory reset would kind of jar something loose. So I called AT&T tech support, got a hold of a really, really sharp guy. In fact, I told him about our show tonight. Maybe he'll watch it. Maybe he's even watching now. But I just wanted to let him know that I wasn't some greenhorn. I didn't want to come off cocky or anything, you know, hey, I'm an Android expert. But I wanted to let him know that, you know, I love Android and I'm used to it and been with it for a long time. And he told me, you know, you cannot go back to a former version by virtue of a factory reset. If you've taken the over-the-air update and it's updated and you do a factory reset, you're stuck with that one. The only way to downgrade is to root, which voids your warranty and so forth. But he did say one of the things they've been having people do is to do a factory reset. So I did a factory reset this afternoon. My phone is it's not back into the place where I like it with my Nova launcher all set up and everything. But the battery life and the other issues that I described too appear not to be a problem right now. But honestly, I mean, this does not. It came down to where, okay, am I going to root my phone, void my warranty to go back to KitKat, or because it was certainly not going to be an option for me to wait for AT&T to roll out a new version of Lollypop, which you know is going to take months, and I couldn't work that way. Or maybe it was going to be to leave the Android operating system and go someplace else. God forbid, I didn't want to do that. So right now, I'm okay, but we'll see.
So
very good, and I just want to clarify for anyone listening, you are talking about Lollypop on the Samsung Galaxy Alpha.
Right.
Now running Lollypop, correct?
Right. And for AT&T, it was 5.0.2. For Verizon, I think it was 5.0.1. But people, whether you had a Verizon phone, any of these Samsung phones, or whether you had an AT&T phone, and I've even read some of the similar reports for some of these other third-party carriers that that we have in the area.
So talk about synchronicity. On the phone today, I got the notification to upgrade to Lollypop on Verizon for my G3, and since Lollypoop is leaving a bad taste in someone's mouth over here, I'm going to take the advice. I'm going to go to XDA and see if there is any issues with the G3 and Lollypop and Verizon before I upgrade, because and I was wondering, do you think it's a conflict with Nova Launcher, perhaps?
No, as far as I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I mean, I've never had that problem with an over-the-air update before, and I had Nova Launcher on there.
It'd be interesting when you put it back on see if the problem kind of creeps back up.
Well, Nova Launcher is back on it. I haven't made it my default yet. Right now, I'm still defaulting to TouchWiz. But seriously, I mean, this is not good PR for Google at all, and the Android operating system. Especially when, if this could have been a really solid rollout, and we could contrast it with the disaster that Apple's been having with their iOS 8.0, 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and some of the stuff that caused their users. But hey, we got the same problem on our end. At least many of us did.
Yeah.
Agreed. Robert, jump in here, man.
I just want to remind everybody that the standard response when you look on XDA is anytime you get an over-the-air update from anybody, do a factory reset on the phone, make it fresh.
First.
Start out fresh right away. And I found that's true with my Nexus 7 tablets. I've had a couple of little glitches along the way. And the first suggestion that comes up is factory reset the device. Make sure you got a backup of all your stuff. Factory reset the device. Then decide.
Yeah, and us geeks would know that, or could know that, or should know that. But the average, my wife, she's got a Galaxy S4 out there. That update's waiting for her. She don't know nothing. The average person, update. I'm gonna click it. It's gonna be more secure. It's gonna be faster and everything. And then boom, disaster.
All those technicians every time that they hear the factory update, because there's the much higher majority of folks who just don't know what's involved with a factory reset or to do a factory reset, which means that their phones are going to ring. Hey, I'm getting horrible battery life. I'm getting these big 5-6 second delays. What do I do? And they have to give them the standard response. Okay, do a factory reset on your phone. Make sure you have all your photos and contacts backed up. And they got to walk them through that process. So it's certainly expensive to have a rollout come out, but not every rollout that's gone over the air is required the factory reset.
So what are you using if you're not rooted your phone? You're not using Titanium Backup to back up your phone. What are you using? What app are you using to back up your phone?
The only thing I worry about is Google Backup itself. I have the Verizon Backup, but I use Google because I'm totally in the Google ecosystem. All my photos are done through there. All my apps are done through there. And, of course, all of my contacts are through there. The only thing that I do lose is the customization of the apps themselves, my widgets and things like that, which is generally not too bad to go back to, and set up, like the Nova launcher, like what Bruce is doing. But, again, he could not continue on the way that he was going, and so he was forced with no other options but to do the factory reset, and we're going to knock on wood that once he gets his phone back to a useful state for him, he's not going to find that there's something else still nagging in the background that causes these problems to reappear.
Yeah, and the article that was in the spreadsheet, they were saying that the bug is really more about RAM and the conflict with the camera on the Nexus 5s, and Nexus 7. So, it kind of makes you wonder how, why would that be going on,
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of issues that I think on the Nexus line in particular, and we're going to talk about that in an article in just a little bit about the Nexus 7s, that, hey, maybe it's not Lollypop to start with. Maybe it's Asus poop, so we got to talk about that too.
Let's go ahead and move into that. Hey guys, listen, reports. This started creeping up a couple of weeks ago in some forums, but basically the bottom line here, just to kind of wrap it up, the 2013 Nexus 7 is failing, man. It's failing big time, and when I say failing, it's freezing. It's you reboot it and it's getting to a certain point and freezing again and just won't complete the boot process, which I can relate to. If anyone can remember, mine happened about 3 months ago, but make no mistake, this same thing happened to me with my Nexus. Okay, the only difference, mine was the 2012 Nexus. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this sounds like some real issues. I mean, basically, and here's the deal, guys. I hate to bring this up. I know I'm going to get hate mail over it, but this tablet sitting right here is an iPad 2 that I'm using tonight to keep it on the spreadsheet. This thing is not what it used to be, as Apple has updated the firmware. But it's still running, and my Nexus 7 isn't, okay? And, yeah, I paid about half for the Nexus 7, what I gave for this iPad 2. But no excuse. I expected the thing to work more than 2 years, all right?
I think that's the scary part is that, and the article that we're coming from Android Police talks about, what our expected life expectancy of our devices is. And we've kind of got this 2-3 year minimum, in our head. The 2013 edition, crashing now just 2 years into its release is a little bit on the spooky side. And what's even more disconcerting is that Asus's response for repairs are more than what the tablet cost originally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that's just plain offensive, if you ask me.
But it has to be some kind of driver issue, right? I mean, it's got to be something like that for all this stuff happening en masse not en masse, but during this time period, that after a certain amount of updates, something has gone awry, right?
Yeah, but you're saying driver or drive issue?
That's
Because I mean, let's face it, we buy tires for our car. And we expect them to last for a while, but we know that those tires are eventually going to be worn out and need to be replaced. Do we need to look at, tablets and phones with the same kind of thought process that, hey, this is good for 50,000 miles or 60,000 miles, and then after that, all bets are off?
I don't think so, because I still have my HTC Incredible phone in my. If I were to click that thing on, it would power back up, and it would be working, right? And that's got to be an 8-year, 10-year phone or something.
But you're not using it on a regular basis.
But I was using it on a regular basis for a long period of time. My Razr Max I was using for a regular basis more than 2 years on a long period of time, every day, more than I'd ever use a tablet.
Right,
and dropping it and doing other things.
But this specifically talks about the Asus Nexus line.
Yeah.
Now, the quality of the product that went there, going back to Duke's comparison with the iPad, did we have a little bit less than acceptable wear levels on the storage? And is that where we're seeing the issue come from? Are the batteries, not holding up like they should be? Where is the blame to be held? And a lot of people happen to look at the coincidence of Lollipop being, or Lollypoop, coin a term from Bruce. But I mean, it just happens to be a strange coincidence that it's occurring right now with Lollipop coming out. People are blaming Lollipop, but could it very well be that we've got tablets with parts that are wearing out prematurely? If you bought a 60,000-mile tire, you want it to last 60,000 miles. You're not going to be happy at 40 or 50.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Here's my thoughts, just specific to the Nexus, okay? I bought the original Nexus 1 from Google. The power button tore up on it. Okay. The first Samsung Galaxy Nexus had all kinds of firmware issues that never really got resolved. Okay. The Nexus 5 and the Nexus the Nexus 4 had a glass back that shattered. I really can't follow them there. Okay, because a lot of phones have these glass backs on them. But going on, look at the Nexus 6 and the battery issues. If you let the Nexus 6 run, if you go real far down on the battery, guess what happens? The battery swells when you go to recharge it and pushes the back cover off. Okay? To me, this is nothing more than Google's poor quality control.
Right. Dropping the spec off on the manufacturer and just walking away from it saying, hey, that's it.
Hey, Bruce, you got any opinions on this, man?
Oh, man. No, I just, you think they could do better. I mean, and it does make you begin to, to think about, and it comes to my mind, say what you want to about the walled garden on the other side, but and they've had their own quality issues as well. I mean, who can forget Antenna Gate on the iPhone 4? But yeah, it's just you just can't make junk. And listen, I think this could drive people to a lot of those cheaper Chinese devices. I mean, if I'm going to get some junk, I'm going to pay less for the junk. That way I can afford to replace the junk more frequently.
Well, what happens is it just wrecks the brand, right?
Yeah.
Now you think, Nexus is not the pinnacle. Even people were getting, like you said before, for the operating system, pure vanilla experience, first one to get it. And if all those reasons start going away, then it doesn't make sense for them to buy it. It just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Hey guys, let's talk about what a lot of people across the internet are calling Mobilegeddon. And basically, here again, I'm going to try to just wrap this up in a paragraph format. Google's got this super algorithm out there, and they pretty much know what we're going to search for. But they're changing that now. And basically, if you're searching for a page now that's not mobile friendly, it's going to fall off the top of the page rankings and appear down below it, because the majority of the web traffic now is from a mobile device. And hey, Bruce, why don't you kick this one off? What's your thoughts on this, man?
No surprise here. Even in our company, we've developed apps, making sure that in fact our website is up for a Webby Award. We're one of, I think, 4 or 5 in our category. And to make sure that it's mobile responsive and that it shows well on mobile, it's really important. And so this shouldn't surprise anybody. Traffic on mobile devices is extremely high, and I mean, with the advent of Siri and OK Google and I'm sorry, Jeff, if I woke your phone up. And Cortana. Now, did you see that there's a hack you can get Cortana on your Android phone? But with all these easy ways to search for stuff, it's becoming mobile is the priority. So makes sense to me. And anybody who got caught with their britches down on this deserves to have their search rankings go lower.
Yeah, just to be clear, it's just the search on a mobile device. So when you're searching Google with a mobile device, it's just going to higher rank the optimized mobile site to return that higher page ranking for it. So it's not for every search. It's just the mobile search.
Yeah, but and I will dovetail into both what Bruce and Jeff just said. Any webmaster worth their salt knows what their users are hitting their sites on, whether it's a tablet or whether it's a desktop or whether it's a phone. And I can tell you, in our own circumstance with our website, Kids Believe Letters, 40% of our traffic came from a mobile device. 40%.
Yeah.
And on top of that, here we go one step further. It's not just generic searches, but paid advertisement. 40% of our paid advertisement was from advertisement on mobile devices. So not only were they searching for us with just a Google search for us, but where they saw our advertisements on a mobile device, they were clicking. So we knew long ago that we had to have a responsive site, regardless of where Google places us in the search algorithm, but simply because a growing number, a substantially growing number of users were coming to us from mobile, and we realized 2 years ago that people couldn't do it, despite Duke's wife having done it sitting there waiting for tires to be changed the first time she found our site. But it was a difficult and painful experience. And so we started immediately changing our website over when we saw the numbers start to creep up. So this shouldn't be Mobilegeddon. Anybody who lets this sneak up, like Bruce said, is... And
there's so many different themes out there that are responsive themes that you get for WordPress or Joomla or whatever, that you automatically kind of handle that. But the question is are those sites part of the Google super algorithm? What are the criteria for what the Google considers to be a mobile, high-ranking site? Is it if I have a WordPress site that's responsive, will that meet the criteria? Is there something else? I don't know if that's known yet.
Right. I don't know. We're not going to sit there and take a chance, though.
No, I mean, but how would you know? I mean, how are you going to know until you do the search on your phone to see where your ranking is?
Yeah, but how do you know what your rank is in Google other than guessing your best guess in terms of proper coding of the website load time, all of the factors. There are things that we know detract and take away, flash being one of them. That's a no-no. And so obviously we're not going to get all the information. We're going to get little hints and tidbits and suggestions, but we're not going to be given the formula to end up in spots 1, 2, or 3. Just
I can tell you, you want to be, definitely on YouTube. Have a YouTube channel that's points to your website, through your, because every YouTube partner, channel is definitely going to be high in the ranking.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Hey, guys. Google announced yesterday that Android Wear was going to get a pretty substantial update. Basically, it's going to be activating these Wi-Fi radios that are in devices, and I learned the G-Watch, it does not have a Wi-Fi radio. It sounds like all the rest of them do. The emoji, I think this is a real interesting story. Basically, Google held a hackathon, and one of the hacker groups had come up with a way that if you draw it, it recognizes what the emoji is, and it inserts that. Well, the Android Wear team was so impressed with it, they've incorporated it directly into Android. And listen, this is a gimmick, but still yet, I think it's fun, okay? But, yeah, and then also you'll be able to do things with gestures, just maybe by moving your wrist, you'll be able to do several gestures and activate the phone that way. Jeff, I'm gonna give it to you this time, man. What do you think about this?
Well, I like the idea. I don't have a watch, and I thought the LG Urban was going to be the first watch that has the Wi-Fi. Not all the watches have. The previous watches have those Wi-Fi antennas in them.
Urbane is the first to get the update, and all updates will be rolled out next month.
But the
LG G Watch does not have a Wi-Fi radio. So
does your watch? Does yours?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Well, that makes it. I like the idea, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on. What I think the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be on the same network, Wi-Fi network. It could be off a different Wi-Fi network. The only thing that is cool about it, which I'm not doing, but I could see the example, which I think there was on Twitter about the guy was talking about. If you keep your phone with you in your locker room, you could still get all your notifications off on your watch, even though it's not physically with you. It could be in a different part and things like that. So the watch doesn't have your phone doesn't have to be physically near you, right? It could be someplace else, which makes sense, right? I like the gestures. I think that's a nice, neat idea, and I like the idea that supposedly, it does that kind of ambient black and white rendering, so it's on all the time. So the apps, you can check your apps, and it's not going to be always. You don't have to do a gesture to make that app come up and do something outrageous so you can see it. So if the battery life if it works like that and it works great, that's a huge improvement. So I think it's a good thing, actually. Good for the watches.
All right, man. Anybody else?
Yeah, you look over the comments on this particular article, and the obvious question comes up: what is Wi-Fi going to do to the battery life on these already shortened battery life devices? It's got to affect it somehow.
I can tell you what I think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
About 30% less battery life per day.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be working in like some kind of pulse mode. Every X amount of time it wakes up, connects, sees there's a notification, does it that way.
Well, that doesn't work real well. Because the whole point of having the watch on your wrist is so that you get the instant notification. If I've got to wait 15 or 30 minutes...
I'm not saying 15, 30 minutes, no.
Okay, well, how short are you going to make that time? And then,
I don't know what the interval should be. I'm sure they might probably optimize it for how it's running. You know, if that's the case, who knows how it works? I don't know. I should shut up on this. Actually, I don't know.
You should shut up on this.
Exactly. I should be very quiet on this.
It's
I don't even have one.
The end result is that the battery life on it is going to be impacted substantially. If you want to see the difference in battery life, take your phone, turn it off the Wi-Fi, and see if you don't get an extra 10 to 15% of battery life on your phone. I almost guarantee it, unless you live in a really weak radio area where it has to struggle for the 3G, 4G connection. You know, that would, you know, potentially be worse. But Wi-Fi in a watch, just for battery life, that scares me. The fact that it makes it more convenient to have the device, that's great. But once again, we come back to what I personally believe should be the number one, you got to have it right thing, is battery life. And it's got to be substantial, it's got to be good. None of this, well, I have to plug it in, you know, after lunch so I can make it through the rest of the day. That just ain't going to get it.
Hey, going back to the Nexus conversation there, we've got Douglas Clement says, my son's Nexus 2013 has been sent back twice. First time, new board, lasted 2 days and would not charge. It's been sent back again. It's under warranty. We have 2 iPads for a year and longer, and work. They've had them for a year longer, and they work flawlessly. What do you recommend to folks? Exactly, Doug. Very good point. Yeah.
Right.
All right, man. Anything else on this?
Well, Duke? What do you think about the update?
Well, listen, I think the Wi-Fi is pretty cool. And yeah, to kind of reiterate what you were talking about, you know, it's tied to Android's cloud. So I could leave the phone here on my network and go out with just the watch to a restaurant, log into their Wi-Fi, and I'm still going to get my phone feature notifications on my watch because it's working across those networks like that. I personally think that's pretty cool. Okay? But I am concerned about the battery life. That's no joke. So, you know, let's see what it's like. I read 3 different articles on it today, and all of them kind of hinted at that. You know, now when it goes into sleep mode, developers are going to be able to fine tune how often, you know, it's going to wake or update or whatever. So maybe we will be able, the user will be able to tweak that to where they can use it on Wi-Fi and it won't overwhelm the battery. We'll see. Anything else?
Good.
Hey, all right, gang. Let me tell you a little bit about who Tech and Coffee is. We all met online 3.5 years ago now, I guess. And everybody got to hanging out together. It's the hangout is called Tech and Coffee. You can find us by going to techandcoffee.info. Look for that beautiful TNC coffee cup logo. Click on it. It will take you to our daily Google Plus Hangout. We love to grab our favorite beverages and talk tech, and Bruce is showing you that beverage right now. Hey, guys, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Tech and Coffee 1. Follow us on YouTube at Tech and Coffee. Search Google Plus for Tech and Coffee. Look for that logo. Catch our podcast on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Player FM. Hey, man, use the hash Tech and Coffee on Twitter and talk to us, man. Let us know what's on your mind. As always, questions, comments, and snide remarks, send them to AJ at techandcoffee.info. Jeff, well, let me back up. Bruce, do you have an app tonight?
I do not. I'm not ready to demo on this phone after having the factory reset just this afternoon, but I'll be ready next week.
Okay, and I know Robert and I don't either. So, Jeff, you have the floor, my friend.
Okay. Well, let's see if I can fire this thing up real quick without getting too much feedback. So, my app this week is called Dormi, D-O-R-M-I. And what it is, it's a baby monitor app. That's right, baby monitor. Who would have figured?
Don't you have a few too many gray hairs to be...
What have you and Leanna been up to, Jeff? You're an old man.
I am an old man. But let me show you how old I am. No. And I'm not doing this because of anything. Because I'm doing it just for the fun of it, actually. And I thought it was a very cool app. So this thing allows me... Let me get into here. If you have any old Android devices, they work on anything since like Android 2.1, I think. So any Android device that's pretty, within the last 8 years, it will actually work on it. Let me fire it up on this thing here. It's called Dormi. It's free. They give you 4 hours of monitoring for free per month, or for $8 you get unlimited for an entire year. It's just crazy, and it works on the cellular. It works on the cellular network, or it works on your own Wi-Fi network. So here it is. I'm going to try to show you on. I'm going to switch over to my tablet here. That lets me do that. Hold on. So here's my tablet. It says, I don't know if you can see this, but it's waiting for the parent device. So this, if you have any old phone or any old tablet, it actually has a battery. It actually has the camera here. It'll go into screensaver mode or whatever, and then when it hears a voice, it wakes up and it projects whatever it sees. And it's it's absolutely perfect, because if you were, say for us, we wanted to leave the house and check on our dogs or something like that, I could monitor it this way. So I'm going to switch over here to start the monitoring process. And it's looking for my device, and it's connected. And it knows that I'm over here. So if I click on the monitor, it would bring up me over here. It's not the greatest connection, but for free, and the device will go to sleep, but it's still active, so the screensaver would come on my tablet, and then it would wake up when it heard a noise. So I'm going to try to go back here and turn the monitoring off, because it's just going to be echoing all over the place. But for being absolutely free, and you can put it on any Android device. If you have an old phone, just put them on your own phone. Bam! You get free monitoring service for whatever reason you want to do it. If you have kids or whatever, but it's obviously that works within your own Wi-Fi network. It works over a cellular network. It's a great deal. 4 hours free. $8 for the entire year. Oh, I'm sorry, $5 for the entire year, $8 for lifetime, one-time payment.
Wow. That is unbelievably cheap.
That's just crazy.
That is unbelievably cheap. That is a very cool app.
Yeah,
very cool app.
Yeah, we're going to use it on our dogs.
Very good, very good. I guarantee you, if I bought that $8 service, that company would go bankrupt next week. All right. Hey, Ben Brady said on his Nexus 7 2012 it's been running dog slow since the Lollypop update. 5.02 and 5.1. I'm hesitant to do a factory reset on it because I've got a boatload of apps installed on it, and it would take forever to reinstall all of them. Hey, Ben, I've been where you're at. You know, Google does a pretty good job of remembering what apps you got installed on your tablet. Normally, just right after a reset, it starts throwing them to your tablet. And but anything that's specific as far as username and passwords, a lot of that is starting fresh. So it can be a pain, and believe me, I can relate to you.
Yeah, it took me about 2.5 to 3 hours for Google to feed all my apps back to me. It didn't feed any of the Amazon apps that I got from the Amazon App Store, so I got to go out and pick those up individually. But the pain of waiting for this to update was far less than the pain of what I was experiencing on my phone.
Well, he describes it as dog slow, so
Right.
it's pretty obvious that he's not happy with its performance. And in the end, though, a factory reset is the only thing that he can do to try and hope that he can recover and get any kind of decent performance out of it.
Okay. Hey, guys, really quick, since we have some time, I'm not going to walk back through this list, but just want to stress we are Tech and Coffee because of one man. His name is George Dosher, and George had the idea to kind of start a community hangout, and it's been successful. And by the way, George is currently in Florida. Robert's in Louisiana. Bruce is in Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm in Northeast Tennessee. Jeff is in Napa, California. I have met all of these guys except Jeff in real life, and met a lot of others that come to Tech and Coffee. And we owe this all to George, and George is hurting tonight. George lost a loved one, and I am going to ask everyone to please keep Mr. George Dosher in your thoughts and prayers. We truly do love George, and he's going through one of the darkest times that a person can go through right now. So please keep George in your thoughts and prayers. Hey, guys, you got anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, we're good.
Well, I just want to add that my Chromebook is still running like a stellar stud that it is. You know.
Hey, really quick, Ben Brady also said that hi, Duke, Robert, Jeff, and Bruce. The problem is I no longer have a broadband connection. I'm using my AT&T Unite hotspot. Fortunately, we have 30 gigs of data with additional rollover. Yes, I hear you, Ben. That would be painful to take all of those apps again once you reset. So, yeah, that would be extremely painful, probably versus a traditional Wi-Fi connection.
You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like a trip to the local coffee house and a bottomless cup. Just plan on an afternoon, because that's really what it's going to come down to. If you have mobile data, one, the speed may potentially be an issue, and you don't want to burn up all your data trying to download all of these apps all over again. Go spend a healthy afternoon at your local coffee shop or your McDonald's or whatever you've got, where you can get some free Wi-Fi. Even your public libraries.
Libraries are the best, actually. They have the best kind of speed.
Yep. Yvonne, one of our regulars in Tech and Coffee, is a big fan of the libraries and the services that they offer. I was surprised, even in the rural and remote area where I live, our local library here has free Wi-Fi internet access. And, I mean, you could just sit there for an entire afternoon and just take care of all of this in one swoop. You know, again, it's a couple hours, but you know, it's better than trying to fight and deal with a device that just will not cooperate, much like what Bruce was experiencing earlier. So, make a plan. You know, make a date with the wife. Say, let's go have coffee, and go sit there and just, you know, try and pay some attention to the wife while you're waiting for all the stuff to, you know, download.
And then optimize app 1 out of 100.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. Currently optimizing app number 7 out of 286 apps. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, listen, guys, y'all have a great week. Please remember George, and we'll catch you guys in 7. Peace out, everybody.